I don't mean to brag, I don't care, but I want you to know, double vaxxed, booster, flu shot, and I'm going to be honest, I have the shingle shot too. And I still get my period. What? Yes! Traveled, went to Mexico twice, did shows, meet and greets, never got COVID. Clearly, Jesus loves me the most. Seriously. So nice. So nice.
Last week, the Surgeon General also was asked on MSNBC about Joe Rogan's vaccine comments on Spotify, and he said that tech companies have an important role to play in stopping misinformation because they are the predominant places where misinformation spreads. Does the White House and the administration think this is a satisfactory step?
Our hope is that all major tech platforms and all major news sources, for that matter, be responsible and be vigilant to ensure the American people have access to accurate information on something as significant as COVID-19. That certainly includes Spotify. So this disclaimer, it's a positive step, but we want every platform to continue doing more to call out mis and disinformation while also uplifting accurate information. It's a positive step, but there's more that can be done.
Welcome to Bro Taste This.
Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon. Welcome to another exciting episode of Vida y Vino, brought to you by the Bro Tasters Boys. And joining us today is our one and only Juan motherfucking legend.
Thank you.
Give it up for him. Woo!
Oh, stop it. You're making me blush.
Come on now. And joining us today, as always, is the big tech daddy himself, Luis Beras.
Thank you.
And your trustworthy narrator along this journey, it is I, Phill Golden Corral.
Beautiful.
God, feels so great. Take two, by the way. I
Forgot to hit record the first time.
I messed up the first time, so we're coming at you guys hot and ready.
Yeah, the pancakes are hot. The steam is hot.
I'm about a glass of wine in, and I'm about to get loose.
The griddle is hot. What are we drinking today, boys?
We are drinking Grande Réserve de Gassac.
Grande Réserve de Gassac Bay d'Europe 2020.
French, right? A French white wine?
This is a French white wine.
Ooh.
This
A
is
Savant
A
Blanc?
white Languedoc regional to France, I mean.
de Francia.
Wait. There's a region in France called the Duck region?
I believe it's a Languedoc region.
It's spelled Languedoc.
Oh.
Londo.
And the particular grape breakdown of this bottle we're drinking today is 30% Vermentino, 30% Chardonnay, 20% Viognier, and 20% Colombard. I don't know about you guys, but I've never had Colombard or Vermentino.
I've had Vermentino. I've never had Colombard. Vermentino is very light and minerally, like very light. Like you can see through it very, very well.
Oh.
And it has very, very little color.
Very minerally, too, so it's got the dark taste
It sounds
to
like
it,
it would
the heavy
be a
taste.
good wine to blend with then.
Yeah, probably
Yeah.
just because of the easy notes that it has on it. This is an interesting wine in the fact that it's very, very minerally, very little fruit. It
Very
is,
almost chalky.
yeah, very medium body.
It's a golden yellow color. We didn't mention that earlier. Well, we did, but take two, boys.
Take two. But
yeah.
it's a very golden pear, very nice little
Yes,
crisp
a
apple.
pale
to it.
gold color.
And it's very salty for some reason.
Yes, we didn't mention that. That it has a very high salinity to it.
If you gave this to Bear Grylls, he'd be happy. He'd be like, "Oh, I've been used to this."
Yeah,
Like,
I've drank my own urine before.
Yeah.
it's got that same color, texture, liquidy.
Really hits the back of the throat and stays there.
Yeah,
Like my ex-boyfriend.
Hey.
No, this wine is about $15. It came with a wine crate which we bought, which we're making our way through, and it's like nothing that we've drank before. I really didn't understand even what the fucking label said, so I'm like, All right, screw it. We're gonna taste this. It's a wine. It's a white blend. It's from France. It is very, very dry.
Very dry. It almost tastes like there's no sugar in there.
Yeah, no, this is a very early harvest. You can tell by the color and the fact that it's not sweet at all.
Oh, so if it's more of a later harvest, it's more sweeter to it.
Correct. And it's also a much darker color.
So you're able to hold more juices and acidity.
I guess, right? Because if you're making
This guy's just throwing out every term he knows.
Acidity.
tennis balls, like when you crack open tennis balls, you're like, I've seen the movie Psalm once.
It's got the new car taste to it.
Exactly. Speaking of cars, I finally got my car back.
Oh, hell yeah. Where was it?
It was at the dealership getting serviced. It was there since December 23rd. Since the day we record, December 23rd.
Wow.
Shit, I thought you guys had it totaled for whatever reason.
No,
it wasn't totaled. It was
wasn't.
just. It was just
right,
down.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it was
What a
gone.
time to get your car back, because a bunch of these dealerships are having subscriptions for your key fobs. So if you want to operate your key fobs,
Oh yes, I did see that.
Oh, you have to pay your bill, sort of thing.
it's like a $5 a month. Like, well, that was
Oh,
that was
okay.
this Hyundai as an example.
Yeah, if you want like remote start, you got to pay like an extra $10 a month.
Yeah.
Fuck
And a
them.
lot of dealerships are implementing that now. It's crazy.
Exactly.
Speaking of implementing news. Woo! I hate my life. Take it live.
Book bannings across the country, starting off with a Holocaust comic and a novel by the name of Beloved. We have Art Spiegelman, who is son of two Holocaust survivors. Vladek Spiegelman, who was a Polish Jew and, like I said, an Auschwitz survivor. The book Mouse, which is a famous graphic novel, won a Pulitzer Prize in 1992, which, for those who aren't well read, like everyone in this room is, we've read The Whoosh. It's the biggest award that a book can receive. It's up there with like an Oscar, and like that's how high it is. So
Kids' Choice Awards, Teen Choice
Right,
yes.
Awards.
yeah, so it's
Kinda
an
like
award
that.
and achievements in newspaper and magazine and pretty much all literature. And it was established in 1917. So, like I said, it's a very, very big award. And
And now you could probably question yourself, why would a book like that be underneath such heavy scrutiny? Right?
good question, Phil. Well, the comic book / graphic novel Mouse, M-A-U-S, is
moose.
a depiction on Holocaust, and it uses mice portraying Jews, cats portraying Nazis, and pigs portraying Polish people.
Which I find the most offensive. Given,
Yeah, if I was gonna be pissed off about that one, I would not want to be a pig.
Yeah, so this book recently in Tennessee got removed, which actually has given it a lot more eyeballs. And
The Barbara Streisand effect.
what's the Barbra Streisand effect?
She tried to get pictures of her house removed off the internet, and sued like whoever the photographer was. So literally, like every media piece or media apparatus around her, like printed pictures of that, and
That's fucking
and
hilarious.
there was just more and more people that knew where she lived, and
yeah.
It's like that picture of Beyonce. That's her performing at the Super Bowl.
Oh
yeah.
that shit was hilarious.
The Black Panther one? Or?
Where she was just like in that like power A pose, and she
Yeah.
was
Oh,
looking
yeah.
all silly.
Yeah, it's
The
just
She-Hulk pose? Where they like
Oh,
dubbed her
yeah.
as the She-Hulk and like...
yeah, exactly. Yes, it's just that one.
Yeah.
Apparently she hated that photo, which ended up making it go
God, you
viral.
sexist pig.
God
Wait,
bless
you've
her.
never seen a powerful woman?
Yeah, what's wrong?
God,
with
you can tell.
I bet you like a woman who's petite and small. You don't like a strong woman.
Yeah, you don't want somebody who can stand up for themselves, huh?
Exactly.
Oh, no. I like someone that can throw me around.
Oh yeah, me too. Me too.
And if they got a car lighter, burn me.
Ju-
Burn me.
Judging from your exes, I would say Luis got it spot on when he said it initially.
So this
Strong woman.
this book is being removed off bookshelves, and they're actually, like I said, comic book stores are giving away copies, and the McMinn County's Board of Education cited it as rough and objectionable language and the cartoon drawing of a nude woman as their primary objections. The cartoon woman in question is showing a shower scene, and there's a hanging.
Which also, by the way, just I hate to derail the story, but
please.
that's pretty hot.
A mouse taking a shower?
Just creeping on the mice in the shower. So like,
You
no,
peeping Tom.
nobody's agreeing with
You
that.
peeping Tom.
We're gonna have to cut
bastard.
that out.
No, we're not cutting
We're
that
gonna
out.
have to-
I'm
We're
not
gonna have to
cutting
cut
that.
mice shower.
This
right
guy
now.
over here,
We're leaving that in.
dude. Put your hands where I can see him, homie.
Yeah. And
I'm one of the conservatives are saying that we shouldn't ban this book. We need to keep our mice sexy. First, they came for green M&Ms.
And now they're going after our mice.
I stayed silent. They came after Joe Rogan. I stayed silent. And now they're taking away sexy mice?
Yeah.
No way, doggy.
That's where you draw the line.
Not
know-
my
No,
America.
not when they come for the furries. That's when I start to care.
Tucker Carlson talked about the green M&M. Okay, so there was a fantastic side-by-side portrayal of Tucker Carlson talking about the wet-ass pussy music video. And being
the
like,
WAP.
I can't believe they're sexualizing themselves, and this is #1 in the media. And then he spent like 15 minutes talking about the green M&M being desexualized. He's like, "Can you believe what these liberals are doing?"
When is enough is enough.
Let's go, Brandon. Fuck that guy, and fuck his perfect hairline.
Oh, the Joe Biden or the NASCAR driver?
Tucker Carlson.
I thought you meant Brandon. The NASCAR driver. Come on now. You don't know where the Let's Go Brandon came
I
from?
know where it came
Yeah,
from.
he's a NASCAR driver, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I believe you hear the people behind me chanting, "Let's go, Brandon."
Fuck Joe Biden. I'm sure you're familiar with that, being a liberal, you know.
Yeah, does that
Juan?
offend you, you libtard?
I'm only slightly offended.
Slightly offended. Oh, people,
This only makes me wanna eat slightly less vegan cheese.
Well, speaking of vegan stuff, another book that's been banned. You were mentioning it on top of the broadcast. What's that book?
Beloved.
Beloved by yep, that's right. Similar Pulitzer Prize winning book actually.
And the story is like what? He's like a slave or something. 12 years.
Yeah, the story talks about a family of former slaves who had moved to the north, but had like the scars of slavery very much present throughout their family and family trauma, and like the primary reason that the people. And it's funny enough because this book getting banned was actually run on by a governor, the new governor of West Virginia. He ran on this issue. Like he was like if you guys elect me, I will ban books like this. And then they did elect him.
And then he did ban the book.
Yes.
Well, at least he's a man of word.
Yeah, at least for once, an honest politician. Wow.
And that's why I elected and voted for Trump.
Someone who's honest, hardworking.
The outlier.
One of us hardworking people.
That's right. Somebody you can really have a beer with.
He's
You
gonna
know?
drain the swamp. That's
Somebody
what
you
I'm-
can sit at the bar with.
Exactly.
Eat a few wings. Eat a burger.
Hey, we're gonna hate on the Trump dog, but I'm telling you what. When he was president, we weren't trying to ban sexy mice. That's
That is
that's
true.
all I'm gonna say.
He was like, "Fuck it, keep that book." Well, critical race theory became a
Yeah.
big contention.
Yeah.
during
That's
the-
when they were pushing that shit. And they just used that shit to
Christopher Columbus is a
evolve
bad guy.
into this.
busy
but
on that.
please inform us more on the beloved novel.
But yeah, essentially, a woman who has famously lobbied her local government or school board against this book was used to make this ad by the new governor of West Virginia. I want to say Virginia or West Virginia, one of the Virginias. She was placed up there on that commercial where she goes on to talk about how there's nudity and how there is the killing of children in the books. And it's like, do you never want to read about any war ever? Because there's gonna be a lot of similar themes and tragic sides to humanity in a book like that or in a history class.
The less people learn about this, like Winston Churchill said, those who fail to learn history are doomed to repeat it. Which I think is very true. And if kids aren't learning about what led to this, because it's not like Hitler went from 0 to 100 in like a month. There's a slow progression of propaganda, of lying to people. Like it's a tension that builds up over years, decades, and then finally a big event happens.
A catalyst.
Yeah.
Right. Everything off.
So if people aren't aware and aren't willing to acknowledge the signs of something like this, I mean, isn't this testing our freedom of speech amendment?
Yeah,
Like,
100%.
What the country was built on, where the settlers came over here, where, Phil, I think it was you who said it, that now in the state of, is it Missouri or Minnesota?
Missouri.
Missouri, that, please go ahead.
In the state of Missouri, I believe, there's a school that's banning literature that's not related to religion. My word is so bad. I'm about 2 glasses in a wine, folks.
What you're trying to say is anything that doesn't contest religion is allowed to be taught. But the things that contest religion should be taught. Like kids should be allowed to think for themselves. And ultimately, it's the separation of school and state that isn't being...
Of church and state.
Oh, church and state. That's what I meant. Yeah.
And whatever your ideology is on the past and like the creation of Earth, like it is important to like understand, like, fuck the dinosaurs. Just study the soil. Study how like the sedimentary like tectonic plates like shift and all that stuff, and how like the Earth is more than like what popular religious beliefs like 6,000 years or whatever.
A lot of like Christian myths that are believed in the South are like creationism. You know that the Earth is 6,000, 10,000 years old, and that like dinosaurs lived at the same time that man did. You got to look it up. Yeah. It's like its own like incredibly entertaining comic book universe. Like I highly recommend it. But I did want to pose a question to you guys, as far as how old you guys think that this mom was trying to get that book by Toni Morrison banned. Like, what class do you think she was like doing that for? Because she was doing that for her kids who were in the school, right? Like, what class, like, would that be?
Children?
Yeah, would that be, like, 7th grade? Would that be, like, freshman? What class would you guess?
It's got to be high school.
I would guess they're in high school if this is a book that's in the running of their literature. So I would guess they're probably sophomores in high school.
Probably 15, 16.
I believe it was a senior level AP class.
AP class?
Yeah.
That's even more preposterous.
Yeah. And she was, like... on the commercial, she was acting so like aghast and like gasping, like how dare they, like just the most pearl clutching Karen energy you can imagine. It was incredible. And then you find out, this was for like an advanced level senior class.
So something that they should be taught.
Yeah, like if there is a single class that a high school can be justified in teaching subjects like that, it would probably be that one. But you would think they would teach it even more.
Well, I mean, it's just that statement. It's almost like a haunting description of what's happening now. Our seniors, our AP level seniors, are learning graphic novels that we learned in middle school.
No, homie, that was Mouse. Beloved is the one that she did that for.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean,
Beloved is a little bit more of a heavier subject than Mouse, so I can see that being an AP. Class.
Ultimately kids should be taught this when, in their Sunday mass, they're being taught about.
It's very recent history. Like,
this is
it was like
very
4 generations ago.
Very, very recent thing when like you see the Bible have some of the most horrific stories about like a father killing his kid and a daughter sleeping with her father. And if you read that thing, it's not a fun read. It's not like people are like, oh, what are you going to do this weekend? Like, oh, I'm going to read a Stoic by Seneca. What are you going to read? Oh, I'm going to read the Bible.
Also, another hot book to read. Very hot.
Oh,
very steamy. the original erotica book. If you
exactly. Moving on.
The story of Cain and Abel. Come on now.
Oh, I'm over here thinking you're talking about the Stoics.
No. Moving on to other people that are getting banned. Joe Rogan.
Thank you for leading us in there, Ric Flair.
Woo!
Joe Rogan. Do I need to say more?
Right to censor. My God.
All right. To let people know, how long have you guys all been listening to him?
You introduced me to him back in 2000. Let's see, how long have I been dating Adriana? was probably year 2, 3, so 2016, 2017.
I introduced you to him.
Yeah, you introduced me to him in like 2017.
Yeah. Did I introduce you to him?
Maybe. You know
Because
what?
I introduced
think
Jose Gay as well.
because you got me into Joey Coco Diaz and like the whole subgroup. But I vividly remember the three of us being at the Geneva Inn at a point, like in the kitchen, like talking about JRE. Like, dude, you listen to the new one with I think we're talking about The Sleep with Matthew Walker, like, or is it the William Hoff, like the breathing techniques and stuff?
The Iceman guy. Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Oh, where that dude yeah. That crazy person. So you introduced me to him back in like 20.
So we've been fans for a while, right?
Yes.
Oh, you would all agree.
Before the Spotify deal, before the controversy, the controversies back then was him like hosting like all right conservative.
Yeah,
people.
he would have Milo Yiannopoulos,
big one.
Stefan Molyneux, who was a dude who was still into phrenology in like 2015.
Who's the really short king?
The Short King.
Yeah, the Short King.
Oh, the Bagel Man, Bagel Boss.
No,
He's
also super right conservative.
Oh, Ben Shapiro.
Ben Shapiro.
Yeah,
Ben Shapiro on. They had a big argument about marijuana.
Oh, Crowder. He had
Steven
Crowder
Crowder.
too.
That's
Crowder
embarrassing.
on.
Yeah, that's a hard one to watch.
Yeah.
Just clown him. Oh, especially with the one guy, Adam Destroys Everything.
Oh
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah,
Adam ruins everything. Yeah, that guy, Adam Conway or something. What's his name?
Yeah, they had a very big alpha versus beta male discussion, which an ass had a discussion to have upon itself.
Right, and so we've been fans for a while, like Juan said, and we've been listening to with a grain of salt from the beginning.
Yeah.
He is not a scientist. He
Yeah.
has on scientists.
It was always entertainment, and then you were exposed to perhaps like a vein of
people.
information that you could maybe travel down, but also with a grain of salt and with your heads up. You know?
I bet your ass loved the CIA talks with like Mike Baker.
I
and all
hated
that
Mike
stuff.
Baker.
You hated
He was
Mike
a
Baker?
former CIA. Why would I trust him?
Oh, that's
He
true.
was literally quote unquote former CIAs, if that's a thing. Why? Yeah.
Well,
why
they
would?
also had Abby Martin, which is like your
And she would like go on to burn people like Mike Baker. But like she was really focused on Israel, the Israel-Palestine issue, which like people have totally come around to. It like I believe, I can't remember the name of the Human Rights Watch group.
Oh, the one from North Korea?
No, there's a global Human Rights Watch group that just recently pronounced that Israel is an apartheid state. Like they are just like South Africa. Like they are just like the Jim Crow. Like
Israel, not Palestine.
Israel, Israel is treating as Palestinian citizens like an apartheid state. They are like Jim Crow America. They are like South Africa. And they are made to drive on different highways. Like, what the fuck are you gonna call that? And Abby Martin has famously been on the forefront of that issue, and like, I'll totally give her credit for that. But
you gotta give Joe Rogan credit for giving the platform to Abby Martin to discuss, because you're going against Israel essentially, which is backed by the American government.
Yeah,
which is not a favorable position to be outright, especially in publications like the New York Post, which is owned by Jeff Bezos.
You mean Washington Post?
They're all posting in New York City, Washington, New York. They're all on the East Coast. Who gives a shit? It's all fake news to me. The only news I trust is RT, Russia Today.
Yeah.
That's the only
If
reliable
they don't have
news.
the letter F in front of the news, I don't want to hear it.
What the fuck does the F stand for?
Fox,
Fox,
baby.
Oh, okay.
Come on now.
That's a cheer.
Yeah,
right
if it's
there.
not if it's not financed by Rupert Murdoch, my favorite Australian billionaire, not trusting it.
Exactly.
Not trusting it.
But that very long segue goes into what we're talking about today, which is why Joe Rogan has put out 2 incredibly cringy apologies that are 10 minutes each.
Jeez.
It's so cringy that it got the response of the former president-elect Donald Trump to send like mass emails to like the people who supported him throughout his campaign.
What? Let me guess. To raise money somehow. That motherfucker's always trying to raise money off his like dumb fuck followers. Sometimes
He was trying to get money for that app that went nowhere, the Freedom app or whatever, the freedom speech website.
Stan?
Is that what it's called?
I think it's called
Rumble. Yeah, there's a
I mean, whatever it was, it
free
failed.
speech YouTube called Rumble that he's like been associated with in the past.
which is all racism, by the way.
Usually, yeah, like even if their concept is cool, like the group of people that goes there first goes and ruins it, and then it makes everybody else afraid to dip their toe in that water.
It's like 4chan.
Yeah.
But he wrote a email to like people like, I'm very disappointed that Joe Rogan's apologizing. You're very strong. Don't make you look weak and terrifying. This isn't you.
Yeah.
Kind of a thing, right? And like,
yeah. So what are your like we've laid out the picture. What are our individual thoughts on it?
see, it's almost like because first they got him for disinformation, right? For COVID.
Yeah.
Right? And that didn't really stick to the point where fucking The Rock came out and supported Joe Rogan, right? At first he was like, that's my brother. That's my buddy, Joe Rogan. I trust him. I back him up. And then disinformation didn't work on him. We'll get the racist card. The compilation that's been going around the news, social media,
The N-word.
There's two famous ones. There's one of him from like 11 to 12 years ago discussing the Planet of the Apes, going out to see with his friends. They took an Uber. They went to somewhere in Pennsylvania, an old black neighborhood, and then he described walking out. Whoa, it's like I'm in Planet of the Apes, right? That was the quote from Joe Rogan.
Yeah,
right.
That's one of the like apology videos was centered around.
Me and Tommy and his girlfriend got super high, and then we went to the movies, and then we went out, and I was like, "What are we in Africa? This is like Planet of the Apes." And that was the quote that he said. See, he's wrong because Planet of the Apes wasn't in Africa; it was in New York City. So just by facts,
that was misinformation.
Just by facts itself, that's wrong.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah, if anything, they should have attacked him on that angle.
And then the other video is just a compilation of him saying the N-word with
Multiple
the
times.
R.
Which, to be fair, was a lot of times. I was unaware. I was a pretty like avid listener, but like when I was listening, I didn't catch it that many times. I was like, God damn.
I remember him saying it once or twice and being like, yeah, you shouldn't be allowed to say that. Like when I say it right now, like people are like, oh my God, why is he saying
Well,
it?
like even in some of those videos, like the context of the videos, like
he would talk about like
the power
repeating
word.
a story, and like instead of saying the N-word, he would actually say it.
Yeah.
And like, but to be fair though, like people have learned that like throughout the years, right? Like
Yes.
that is like a thing that people are learning. Like, for example, I saw that people were also attacking what's her name,
Who?
and the
Anna
Anna
Krasinski?
Kasparian.
From the Red Scare pod?
No, man, you fucking weirdo. What kind of alt-right weird shit are you watching? Anna Kasparian from the Young Turks, like the YouTube, like news, like progressive.
Yeah, she's got her
channel.
own other podcast. I'm pretty sure that's called the Red Scare pod. Anna Kasparian, she's like Yugoslavian or some shit, right?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah.
She was also getting like a lot of shit on Twitter. By
Yeah.
quote unquote like educated liberals and shit over the fact that like I don't know 10 years ago they used to report on her YouTube channel that she's very prominent on. She runs a YouTube channel, like I said. She's essentially like an anchor woman on the internet, and they would also say it like their stance on it at the time was that they did not want to sanitize racism. And like I get it, like if there is gonna be a new societal standard that nobody can say it, you gotta let like a few people, you kind of almost, I don't want to say grandfather in, but you kind of want to practice a like tactical like acceptance.
But-
you know what I mean? Like
but-
you have to know when somebody, like that motherfucker, the Seinfeld guy,
Oh,
like that dude was like, we're gonna hang you from trees and this and that. It's like,
definitely.
I don't know if you want to like forgive that one, but
Yeah,
there,
but
there
Joe
are
Rog-
some times where
But Joe Rogan's complete opposite of that, because Joe Rogan is quote unquote a threat to the legacy media. To like, I mean, look how
you're right about that.
He got
yeah.
paid over $100 million on September, the 1st of September in 2020, to go pure Spotify, right? And that's a catalog of 11 years. And then within those 11 years, that's him discussing the powerful, the meaning, the weight that the N-word, or just words in general, has.
Yeah.
You know, and they're comics. You know, George Carlin, famous for his 11 words or 7 words you can't see on TV, right? And it says a list of slurs. Like, wow, it's a list of slurs, and I don't know where I was going with that, but see, no.
Sometimes I just start a sentence and I hope it finds itself along the way.
See, what I'm trying to say is that this is more than just like look at Mouse. The right to have a dialogue of like something gruesome, right?
Yeah.
We should be able to discuss gruesome matters like slavery and the Holocaust, right?
Yeah.
I think you should be, but
like to have an open discussion whether like the N-word is part. Do you even say the N-word to get this kind of?
That's what I'm saying.
Backlash?
Like I understand the argument. I understand the feedback that it's getting, but I don't agree with the fact like how many times he used it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's one thing to be like, you shouldn't be allowed to say the N-word. But the amount that he said it was like, all right, that's pretty ridiculous. Like, I would understand if he was saying, like, you shouldn't, like I just said, like, you shouldn't use it. But he was constantly repeating it. And you get to a point where you're like, all right, like.
You know who agrees with you on that?
Cool.
The beautiful queen, Jen Psaki, the White House press secretary. On the 1st of February, they had a press briefing, right?
What's her name? Jessica Rabbit?
She might as well cosplay as a Jessica Rabbit. God bless her. Jen Psaki, the red-haired queen herself.
Yeah.
The press secretary for Biden.
Yeah, White House. She was asked during the... I'll give the full question in quotations. It's a long one. By the way, the guy that asked the question, pretty sure it's an MSNBC plant.
All right, you fucking conspiracy theorist tinfoil hat.
I'll have my sources.
Is that tinfoil hat tighted on?
I'll have my sources check it back on that. But this is the question that they asked. Last week, the Surgeon General also was asked on MSNBC about Joe Rogan's vaccine comments on Spotify. And he said that tech companies have an important role to play in stopping misinformation because he, quote, they are the predominant places where misinformation spreads. Spotify is putting on adversary?
Adversary.
Am I saying that right?
Where are you?
Right here. I'll let Juan take it away.
Yeah, I'll take it away.
Just edit this.
Okay, where are you then? Okay, the question to Miss Jennifer Psaki was, last week, the Surgeon General was asked on MSNBC about Joe Rogan's vaccine comments on Spotify. And he said that tech companies have an important role to play in stopping misinformation because they are the predominant places where misinformation spreads. Spotify is putting out advisory warnings on episodes that have to do with COVID-19. Does the White House and the administration think this is a satisfactory step, or do you think that the companies like Spotify should go further than just putting a label on there to say, "Hey, go do your own, check this out. There's more research you can look at, scientific research regarding COVID."
But by the way, that's the quote.
Yeah.
That's the quote that the stupid-ass reporter said. I was watching the video, and this dude had to be at least like 20, 22. Says this college
that sounds
graduate.
like a total
like
20-year-old talking.
The misinformation, Joe Rogan. Like, you're at the White House. Like, Richard Spencer, was that his name, right? The White House press secretary that cried when he got fired. He's like, "Oh, Donald Trump is so happy."
Homie, it was not Richard Spencer.
What was his name? Ken Spencer? Or he went
Sean
SNL.
Spicer.
Sean Spicer. My
Richard
bad.
Spencer's like the alt-right hero, dude.
Oh, definitely not that guy. Don't that guy.
So I think to summarize my thought on this is they should just put an advisory and that's it.
Oh, Jen Psaki went further than that. She wants more than just an advisory.
I don't know how much more you can do without deplatforming him. Like, you can't cancel him because you shouldn't. Like, no one should, unless he's not. I mean, he's spreading misinformation, but to an extent, like, when I'm seeing people on Facebook being like, no, don't get the vaccine. Go listen to this episode of Joe Rogan. I'm like, okay,
yeah,
all right. That's not what the point
That's
of
a
the
red flag.
Yeah, that's not what the point of the episode is. The
Yeah.
point of the episode is to make you understand.
You can be against cancel culture, but also view Rogan through a skeptical lens. Like,
Right.
Yeah.
Both of those things can be true at the same
Exactly.
time.
You can watch Joe Rogan and understand that he is a dumbass comedian, which he has said multiple times. He is not intelligent.
No.
He got kicked in the head multiple times.
CTE like a motherfucker.
He was in martial arts. He is not smart. He is entertaining, and he has on people who are very smart. However, there is this thing called confirmation bias, where you do research that supports your already opinion. So, for example, I think that the COVID vaccine makes you gay. So I'm going to go to Google and I'm going to Google, does the COVID vaccine make you gay? And I'm going to only look for the articles that prove that is confirmation bias.
Mm-hmm.
Why would Rogan at this point in his career have people on that challenge his point of view? He doesn't. So he's only going to have people on who are further going to implement his point of view. I mean, we're talking about, we used to listen to him when he would have people argue with him. That was years ago.
Yeah.
He no longer
but
has
a couple
that.
of weeks ago, to kind of prove that wrong, a couple of weeks ago, he had the lead doctor expert from CNN go onto his show, Dr. Danya Gupta,
Gupta.
to essentially
Sanjay
Gupta to essentially refute everything that Fauci said in the beginning of like, weren't you guys kind of wrong about the mask and like with 6 feet and whatnot? It's like, well, see, we were kind of wrong about the statistics and data because of that, right? So you have that as like him having like an open discussion with people who don't support his like bias thing. Honestly, I think it's just a political.
Yeah, but I mean, even in
it's all a
that
political hit job with the midterms coming up. Look, I don't think Joe Rogan has like the power to like get Joe Biden out of the office to swing the vote, right? But during the Trump presidency, he gave the platform open to Bernie Sanders, to Tulsi Gabbard, right? Two oppositions that would never even give it, Andrew Yang, who would never even given more than 15, 20 minutes of speech time, right? Now they have a platform that can go speak in an hour. Now, they didn't do anything to like change the outcome of the votes, but there was more votes or more eyes on Tulsi Gabbard that essentially took away from what's her face? Though Elizabeth Warren, which, by the way, if it wasn't for Warren, Bernie Sanders would be president, I think. If she would have, if she wouldn't have stayed, if she wouldn't have stayed in the primaries and taken those votes away and given to Sanders,
yeah, because she was like running in a time when she could only play spoiler.
I think she only got like 8% of the votes in her hometown.
But I mean, what I was gonna say though is like, even in your refuting of that, like the thing I hate about fucking anti-vax people is like their talking points. Like they said they were like the one that you said that Joe Rogan repeated to Sanjay Gupta, like, oh well, Fauci lied about masks. It's like, yeah, dumb fuck, because we like live in a neoliberal government that only solves problems the moment they become like crisis level problems. Like they are never like prepared for a future situation. They're never going to prepare for a future pandemic, you know? So they obviously like the supply chain could only provide for the health professionals at the time, and the government kind of had to fucking lie to everybody. But if and this is why I say that you have to pay attention to international, like you have to have an international lens. I knew that they were fucking lying from the beginning. I was telling everybody. I was like, they're lying. Like
Joe Rogan had
like in every other country, people are masking up. Like y'all can believe them, but like they're lying. Like
they had the infections expert Michael Ostrom, like 2 years ago before the quarantine and all that stuff, to literally say that we've known about COVID-19 for a while, and like we've had vaccines and preparations. This is the infections expert, Michael. You know what I'm talking about?
No,
Michael
who are
Ostrom?
you talking about? Where is he from though? On this subject later though, like
we're gonna see how this
plays out.
I don't think Rogan will get canceled, but I think there will be more warnings and stuff that will be placed ahead of his.
Well, they took 113 episodes of his down.
Correct.
Yeah, and that's real time. They're still taking some down.
Yes.
So,
one like final add on to that though, like I think not only does this affect people like Rogan, but it affects like the future Rogan, if that makes any sense. It also kind of has like a chilling effect on like smaller content creators that are like not gonna tackle some of these subjects that they're seeing are radioactive,
or even big tech companies that are like, we can impose these regulations on your content. Look at GoFundMe and the Freedom Truckers in Canada.
Yeah,
their government got involved with a tech company that said like, no, cut the funds.
Yeah, and
now lawmakers here in America are like, is that illegal? Kind of a thing.
No, yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah, like that's happening in Canada right now. They have a trucker convoy where they're protesting essentially mask regulations and shutdowns, and the local governments are urging what's the name of the company? GoFundMe,
yeah,
to not give them their funds, and like urging them to donate them to charity, which in my opinion is kind of theft. Like, those, like, if you're gonna fucking do that shit, can return their money. Like, what the fuck?
Well, it's because they keep 3% of all donations.
Yeah.
That's the end game of that.
Okay, so they were looking for a reason to keep it.
Oh yeah. Well, they refunded the money to the people. Now you can give money to GiveFundMe. So the GoFundMe is GiveFundMe, right?
Yeah.
Which I think is fake. Don't donate to that.
It looks pretty fake.
To some trucker.
It looks like a 1990s website.
But
The paperclip is still on there.
yeah, no, that's crazy news. Crazy
Real quick,
news.
Do we want to talk about Amir Locke or do we want to move on?
Let's do 5 minutes on it.
5
It's
minutes
just- yeah.
on a guy that just died.
Yeah, I mean,
Give that guy some more respect.
That's
than
why I
that.
feel like should we flesh it out more next week?
no, because
As of right now,
yeah,
the
you know, 'cause
development
Uriah's gonna
story.
be here. Yeah, Uriah's like pretty cool on that shit.
Is he really?
Yeah.
Spoiler alert. Next week's guest. You know what? You want to introduce
Yeah,
next
that's
week's
right.
guest?
Yeah, next week's guest, we're gonna invite a friend of mine who I met at my workplace. He's a super interesting guy. He's been a musician for, I want to say, like, since he's been a teenager, and he's in his, I believe, 30 now. So for a long time, he's been a musician, and he's played all around the country, specifically the Pacific Northwest, where he spent a lot of time. A former brewer, and he's coming, I believe, with also a bandmate to represent their band, and we're gonna talk about them. Their name is Contact High. They are on YouTube. I want to plug one of their songs. It's called Comatose. It's a really fun song. Phill, you listen to it. What kind of like vibe would you say they give you? What kind of energy did you read off of that song?
Very radical, liberating. If I don't smoke weed anymore, but if I would roll up a joint and just tune out to it, I would.
I disagree with that. I think they were, I don't know, kind of just like a very fun get up and move kind of like
Ska. Very very punk, very ska.
yeah, just a super fun rock
mellow.
song. Yeah, you know,
Very
like
mellow.
a little bit of rock, a little bit of reggae in there. It's a super fun song.
Well, speaking of being world travel, one of our own went over to the Windy City not too long ago. We'll come back to that with some interesting details on some world news. Is it world news or is it local news, right? What is it?
Breaking news.
Breaking news?
I thought we were talking about if we were about to move into the
we'll be
restaurant
right,
segment.
Yeah, exactly. We'll be
The
right
fun
back
half.
to that.
Oh, the fun half.
The fun half.
Moving into the fun
The fun
half.
house. And we're back.
We are back to talk about some of the worst restaurant experiences, not only that we've performed, but that we have received. We have been in the restaurant industry for 10 plus years. Phill, a little less.
Definitely way less. I've only been in the restaurant business for like 4 years.
Oh, okay.
And then I got out of it.
But you were raised in it though.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Raising
yeah.
it, though.
You,
Parents
yeah,
heavily
your
involved
parents-
and all that stuff. And
Yeah.
Your parents kind of that counts for a little bit.
Exactly.
What used to be the Lucy's Cafe in Walworth.
Yeah.
Now it's some other cafe, but it used to be rented by my father.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And then we had a pizza shop in Darien, La Fogata.
I was there. That was fun.
Yeah. You know, honestly, if we were Italian, that'd be like money laundering businesses that like
Oh,
a bunch
for
of
sure.
failed businesses that went nowhere. Like, what are you doing? But we're not smart enough to take advantage of the tax brackets like that. So,
Juan, how many years did you spend in the restaurant industry? In counting?
10 and counting since I was like 16.
10 and counting, so same as
Yeah.
me. But we have had terrible service at a few places. We have given terrible service at a few places. And I think it'd be nice because I had a terrible experience over the weekend. I wanted to bring it back to some of our roots, which are restaurant roots, and for us to talk about some of those terrible experiences.
What happened to you in Chicago, man?
So the missus and I went to Chicago to watch a comedy show. We went to go see Andrew Santino
Oh,
at the Chicago Theater.
the funny red
The Red
ginger.
Rooster. Yeah, the Red Rocket. Yeah. So
Tell me why I thought that was like the old school wrestler who wrestles with Umaga.
with Umaga?
You know what? His name was like Santino Escobar or some shit like that.
Yeah,
So,
right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Umaga back a big Samoan WWE guy. His
He was
whole
He was like John Cena's main rival for all of like 2 years.
yeah, he was unbeatable for a little bit.
Yeah.
But
He was scripted to be unbeatable for a little bit.
the Samoan guys, you know,
What do you
Yeah.
mean scripted?
that's a Samoan power.
WWE is real.
Come on
It's,
now.
it's real to me.
God damn
So we went to Chicago for the weekend, and there was this restaurant that we saw on TikTok that was this all-you-can-eat sushi place by the name of Sushi Pace, Payc as in cat E.
All you can eat.
All you can eat, yeah.
Oh.
And I was like, all right, cool. Like, we'll go check it out. It's new. Like, point is, we love sushi, and we want to go check this place out.
And it's been on TikTok, so heavily advertised.
It was on TikTok. There was this one TikTok that went viral on it, and we're like, fuck it, let's go check it out. So we finally get down there. We get to our hotel room around 3:20, so right after check-in. And we're like, all right, let's just immediately, like after that, let's just go straight to the restaurant. So we get to the restaurant at 4:20. As soon as we walk in, it's empty. And we're like, what the fuck? Are they closed?
By the way, what a great time to enter. 420. Do you have
It
any
was-
reservation?
I literally looked at no, they didn't have any reservations, and we tried
Ooh.
calling ahead to see if we could like be put on the list or something. Nothing. We walk in, it's empty, and we're like, what the fuck? And then we go to the bar, and the lady's like, oh, we're closed. We're reopening at 5 because we sold out of a bunch of our ingredients that the chef needs to prep again.
So what is he gonna do in 40 minutes? Go to the river and fucking get some fish?
I'm
The
like-
hell?
So he needed time to prep. So I'm like, all right, cool, whatever. So we sit at the bar and we get an iced tea, right? And we're chilling there, and I keep seeing people walking in, and the owner's like, come back at 5. We're gonna reopen at 5. So I'm like, all right, cool, whatever. And finally 5 rolls around, and there's a few people that are being sat right away. There's a few people coming in. So it's like, all right. We get sat in the center of this like small room, and it's a very, very small restaurant. It's like a hallway. Like there's maybe 18 tables total.
Wow.
Like it's tiny. So we get sat in the middle, and we're waiting patiently. We probably wait like 20 minutes, and we see this server finally walk around. So we're like, all right, cool. As we're sitting down, she's walking between tables. She goes to one next to us. She skips us. She goes to another one next to us. And finally, my girlfriend's like, hey, excuse me, like, we haven't ordered yet. And it's we were the first one sat in the restaurant, and we were the first ones there. Finally, they take our order that we want 2-3 rolls, and then we also want like 2 appetizers. And we're going to order everything. We have to be at the theater at 7 because doors open at 7. So like if we leave here no later than 7, we'll get there around 7:30. Go get our spot, do what we need to do, right? So we're sitting down, waiting, and after like 30 minutes, somebody brings over, like, oh, did you order I think it was called like the My Girl?
Wait, 30 minutes of ordering
we
appetizers.
Ordering appetizers. After 30 minutes, finally we're like, all right, it's almost 6, and they bring over a roll by accident. And they take the rest away because they weren't ours. So we're like, well, we're going to eat it. Like, we did technically order this. We eat it, and then they take it away.
What the hell?
And by the way, no one around us has gotten their food. Like, we have seen 0 food come out to the people around us. And they ordered slightly before us. We waited another 20 minutes. No food, nothing. No sign of food. Everybody around us just gets like 1 or 2 plates. Tops. So no, like everybody around us is waiting. We've been in there for an hour and a half now, almost 2 hours. An hour since we've ordered. It's now 6:20.
Oh,
and I look
you
at
got there at 4:20?
it's now
Damn.
6:20,
What the hell?
and it was an hour after we ordered, and we haven't gotten any food yet. We got 1 roll by accident.
Not even, and the rest taken away.
Yes. So then we're like, you know, fuck it. We're going to have to leave and just grab some other food quickly.
Yeah.
So we get up and we just calmly walk out. I even pushed in my chair. No one asked me anything as I walked out. I just get up, push in my chair. We walk out. We go to this Asian restaurant that's literally around the corner from the block we were at. It's called Mo's, MO''S. We walk in, they're
Hell
like,
yeah.
vaccine card. We show them like ID.
Well, yeah, Chicago's no matter where you go, you gotta show them you're
Yes,
vaccinated.
no matter
right?
where you go, you need your vaccine card. However, they have just lifted the mask mandate in some areas.
Oh, really?
Pritzker just gave an announcement. Yeah.
There we go. Mayor Lightfoot.
Like right before you guys came in, they said something. So I was reading up on that. We walk in there, it's 6:25 when we walk in. We walk out the door at 6:45.
That's what I'm talking about.
Like
right?
we ordered 2 rolls and
Oh,
2
yeah.
apps,
Mm-hmm.
and they're like, "Yep, here you go. Here's your food. Here's your bullshit. Boom, boom. All right,
Oh, yeah.
get the fuck out of here."
Bada boom.
Called an
Fast
Uber.
casual, baby.
Yeah, called an Uber. And Juan, you'd appreciate this. Once we get to the theater, we ordered 2 old fashions. Guess what they poured us? Straight Knob Creek.
Fuck yeah.
No bitters, no fruit. Straight Knob Creek on the rocks. We're like, yeah, 2 old fashions.
Wait. Are you sure?
100%.
Like they just put a cup down in front of you and then just poured it? They didn't do
Ice,
anything else?
Correct.
Old
And before
fashioned.
we could even say anything, they're like, next, who's in line next? We're like, 2 old fashions. And he goes, 2 old fashions. I look at the screen. It says 2 old fashions. We pay for it.
But you're telling me he just poured whiskey in a cup. He did nothing else.
That is correct.
Damn. He got it wrong too then. Motherfucker was supposed to stir that, add some sugar, and add some bitters.
There was
and then
no bitters.
citrus peel expression.
What comedy club did you go to?
We went to the Chicago theater.
Okay, hell yeah.
It was fucking beautiful. And Andrew Santino's a great comedian. Everybody should go see him.
He's also in that show, Dickie. Dave, yeah.
Yeah, with Lil Dicky, which is a fantastic show. Highly
I gotta
recommend.
watch that. I want to watch that Lil Dicky show.
It's really, really good. It's on Hulu. It's a little dark in the 2nd season. And
Funny too.
That's why I like it.
Very funny.
That's
But-
dope.
Gentlemen, let's go with Juan. Juan, what is one terrible restaurant experience that comes to mind?
Let me give you 2 because they're gonna be kind of fast.
All right, that's fine.
I have
Okay.
so I want to say like at least a year ago, maybe even more, like 16 months, 18 months, something close to that. Right when COVID started, I was waking up one day just looking to go get breakfast on a weekend with my boo, and I had a local favorite spot that I really enjoyed because they went out of their way to make their own jams.
You said what?
Yeah, they were.
Where's this?
Yeah, it's called Deb's Diner in. I'm not even gonna say where it is because I'm not trying to give them business after the way they treated me. But point is, I used to love this place. They would make their own strawberry rhubarb jam and their
That
own
sounds really, really good.
and their own apple butter. I had never tasted apple butter until I went
Do
there.
they still do this?
Yeah, they do.
I'm gonna have to go check them out.
But I mean, listen to the rest of the story because you
Okay.
might think otherwise. So I used to love going to this place, right?
Is this in Walworth?
Not gonna say. Not gonna say.
But homemade jams.
If
It's,
only-
yeah,
like it
if
sounds
only
good.
Google could tell me where it is.
Yeah, I'll let you find out on your own. Put a little elbow grease into it.
Yeah.
But point is, I used to love going to this place. Me and I used to love going to this place. And then I showed up one day right when like a month into COVID is starting. And I knew that this woman was like pretty Republican because she...
Like, well.
Yeah,
it
like-
isn't the COVID starting rat himself.
like they had a little like cow that was mounted on the wall, like a little cute plush toy with a MAGA hat on it. And like from the beginning, from like a year before the Trump administration even started, like they were
Already
pretty
supporting
early adopters over here, right? And so I knew like we weren't gonna agree on shit, but right when COVID started,
I want that apple butter.
they started putting up a sign in their front that said that if you wore a mask, you weren't like welcome. Yeah, like they weren't like no masks allowed. They were like, no, turn around now.
They were
Like,
the opposite of the
We
rest of
don't
the
want
world.
you. Like, yeah, like if you're wearing a mask, get the fuck out. Like they had, and there was, and I had seen that on their Google review page, and I kind of didn't believe it, and then went in still, and yeah, that was up there. But not only that, dude, the thing that just like I was like gonna look past that. I was just gonna say, oh, whatever.
Oh, for the jam?
Yeah, I was gonna say like whatever, like I wasn't gonna look past it. But then the day that she took care of us, and this is clearly like a husband wife combo handling it. she's a woman who's like married to the cook, and she's like the front of the restaurant, and he's the back.
Yeah.
Yeah, this kind of dynamic, very, you know, a little wholesome. But she was just that particular day. As she was wiping everything, she was just like coughing up so much phlegm, and just like making me feel disgusted with like the fact that I'm like chilling here as she's like very proudly like not giving a fuck about COVID being a thing. And she's
when people thought that you were gonna die if you get it.
Yeah, exactly. Like month one when
all of us were terrified.
No one knows like what's going on yet. You know,
the only footage being shown is like Chinese people falling to their face because they're sick with COVID.
Yeah. And she was over here like talking about, oh yeah, my husband almost called in today, but like we're both sick. Like, you know, you have to come in, asshole. Like this and that. And meanwhile, she's like cough, cough, cough. Like. You can basically see the phlegm like just spitting out of her mouth. Like it was just that gargly in the back of her throat. And yeah, that's when I was like, nope, I'm good. Never coming back here again. And that just turned me off so much.
Did you walk out?
I didn't. No, like we finished our stuff, and then we just like never came back again. And that was a regular spot for me and Alo. But I want to move on to a different one that I just went to this past week.
A different racist restaurant?
No. I never said they were racist. That was you. But point is, I had gotten tricked similarly to you by social media.
Bamboozled?
Yeah, I had gotten bamboozled. I got bamboozled on a local, like almost Walworth County networking page. Where they sometimes plug local restaurants and shit like that, right? Mm-hmm. And I was on one where that page came across my algorithm, and I discovered a restaurant called Roots and Rocks. Have you seen it? It's right here in your downtown.
Here in Elkhorn?
Yeah, it's in Elkhorn.
No.
Yeah, it's here in Elkhorn. Don't recommend it.
Well, thank you for the honesty.
It's kind of like a mini Fire to Fork done really terribly.
Oh,
do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'll walk you through it. I ordered a spinach artichoke dip, where the dip itself was very decent and like borderline good, but the bread that they served it with was just like the cheapest, like most powdery bread you can think of, where each slice you would bite into would just like crumble into dust inside of your mouth, and you're over here like picking the sides of your like gums and shit to like scrape that off with your tongue.
So you were dipping it, and you were just making chowder.
Exactly.
That's an old world bread.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, and so it was that shit bread, right? And like you can look through or look past one or two bad things, right?
Yeah.
But also when we walked in, like the lady was like, just like in a really nasally voice, was like, IDs, please. We don't serve enough food to be considered a restaurant, so I need to see some IDs. And
Mike Wazowski.
Yeah, like a very nasally voice.
Wait, they don't serve enough food to be considered a restaurant?
Yeah, exactly. I was like, why the fuck would you tell me that? Just like ask, may I see some ID, please? Easy enough. You don't less words than what you said. Like that's quite literally easier. And it sounds way less rude, you know? Like we get it. We're young looking. But also, like, don't be, like, a weirdo about it, you know, like. So they did that shit. They also gave me the first drink I had ordered there was just, like, I should have known this. It was a special. It was called the Snowball Coconut Martini. I'm a sucker for coconut.
Hell yeah.
Sucker for coconut. I'll order anything coconut flavored.
You can say that you're a bit of an exotic man.
Yeah,
right?
you could say that. You could say that. Yeah, exactly.
The tropical
the modern day Tarzan.
That is what they called me. That is, yeah, exactly. And I ordered that drink, and I get this just like blue moon colored drink.
What?
Yeah, it looks like melted blue moon ice cream. And so that was just a huge turnoff right there.
Coconut?
Yeah. And I would taste it, and you get like a hint of coconut, but like not very prominent at all. It almost just tastes.
Coconut was in the name?
Yeah, but coconut was in the name, and it was rimmed with frosted coconut flakes. So like they incorporated coconut that way, but not really into the flavors of the drink itself.
What?
Yeah, so again, another like strike, right? And then the final strike was we got our food that was very, very bland, very kind of lame. We had a fish fry and a pepperoni pizza.
Pepperoni.
The pepperoni pizza on the menu, I could have sworn, did not specify that it was served with like red pepper and olives and all these like additional things.
What kind of pepperoni pizza puts fucking olives on it?
Exactly. And it was served with these things when I had not said that. I said I saw pepperoni. I said I wanted the pepperoni one.
Pizza, please.
Yeah, I just said I'll do the pepperoni. A flatbread, actually, was they called it.
Mm-hmm.
And they served the flatbread on wax paper that they just slid off the tray and onto a bare table. So you just see the grease skid marks everywhere as
They
like
didn't
when
have
you're
a
done.
tray
Nope.
or anything underneath?
Nope. Again, Roots and Rocks, downtown Elkhorn.
Well, technically they're not a restaurant, so they
Yeah.
don't have,
Yeah, exactly.
they don't have to serve.
Technically,
Get
they're not a
away with it.
restaurant,
Oh
which you made
my
very
goodness.
specific.
Fuck.
And then final, like to just point, I will almost always order a Manhattan in a place when I'm like trying them.
Yeah.
Just to like, it's almost like
If they fuck this
if
up.
they fuck this up, I'm not coming back. Like
Yeah.
it's kind of my test that I've like almost ran into, and they did the same thing that the GI did. They it was whiskey with the vermouth sunk way at the bottom and the bitters and like the cheap like maraschino cherries. If you ever get a Manhattan that looks like it dark at the bottom and light at the top, it was not mixed. And if you ever get a Manhattan with those like hyper red, like bright red cherries, it is a cheap bar, and like you should probably be ordering that drink somewhere else, just because the quality of the ingredients and how you prepare the ingredients makes the biggest difference when you make a Manhattan. Like if you're just sitting there mixing it in the glass, quite literally not even stirring it and pouring it out, it does not have the proper amount of dilution, and it is not at the right temperature that cocktail was designed to be drunk at.
Now, as a bartender yourself, are you someone that when you make a cocktail that is on the rocks, like a Manhattan is, do you pour new ice, or do you try to conserve some of the ice that has been mixed with the alcohol? Because I've seen both, and there's a strong debate amongst the bartending community.
I've personally always poured new ice. I'll have the fresh ice in a glass, and then I'll also have my mixing glass, well, that's typically can hold like 28 ounces, 32 ounces, and then you're mixing that with ice, and then you have your strainer, and then strain out like the newly added diluted cold water you added into that drink, and that way you're kind of keeping the old ice in there, but it has new ice in the glass or the rocks glass.
I've always been done the same, so I was just curious. Phil, what about you? What's been some terrible service that you've received? What's a restaurant you'd like to bash?
All right. Okay. First things first. I got a better experience than like a bad service or whatever. But first off the bat, what needs to be canceled, no more operating, are all noodles and companies. Noodles and companies in general
suck.
Fucking are garbage. I know you guys are talking about fine dining restaurants and all this
No,
stuff.
you can say noodles
by
too.
all means.
But I've been burned by them too many times, and I'm a big mac and cheese guy, right? So when I go in there, I'm like, oh, buffalo chicken mac and cheese, like
That
hell
sounds
yeah.
delicious.
And like they're offering like $10 for a thing of it. I'm like, okay, cool, I'm gonna get it, right?
Yeah.
And it comes back to me, and it's no better quality than the microwavable fucking mac and cheese that you put water on. I'm about to raise hell, hell, right? So that's off the bat, right? Noodles and Company, dead to me. But
All right, I'll no longer go to Noodles in support of you.
thank you.
I just don't.
I love noodles, by the way.
And to support you, Luis, I'll stop being racist.
Thank you. We'll meet in the middle.
But no, for restaurant experience, I guess the only thing that comes to my mind is Smith and Wolenski in Chicago, steak place, right?
Yeah.
I had just turned 18, right? And I took this person I had a crush on to Smith and Wolenski. Smith and
God damn, to
Wolenski.
Chicago?
Yeah, 18, right? Just like
Big baller move over here.
Jesus.
very
Christ,
young
dude.
and dumb, very.
Young,
Damn.
dumb, and full of cum.
And around this time period, it was the anniversary of those Chicago fire, right? So they were started a new TV show, the Chicago PD or Chicago firefighter or some shit.
There was a Chicago fire show.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
gonna say I remember Chicago Fire being a big show.
So around that time period, they were starting filming for it. So a lot of people were like, "Oh my god!" Well, I worked at Menards around the area, so like, if you go down there, you can be an extra or something, right?
Yeah.
So like, there was a lot of people there for the filming, and like as we walked there, I didn't know anything about it.
Yeah.
Anniversary or whatever, right? So we got there, trying to impress this I'm very awkward. If you think I'm weird, Jesus Christ, see me trying to impress
imagine
somebody.
him nervous.
Me nervous and trying to impress somebody.
Yeah.
God, I'm cringing just thinking about it. So this person, we go out to Smith and Wollensky, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you ever been, it's one of the most reputable like steakhouses in the States, right? There's food chain. There's Smith and Wollensky's in New York and all this stuff. You never heard of Smith and Wollensky?
No.
I'll take your word for it.
Wow.
Like Wolfgang Puck, all that shit.
You've been to Tornado Room in Madison, haven't you?
No.
What? What about Merlin Houston's in Beloit?
No.
What? I'm telling you, okay, this person and I, we frequented steak joints, right?
Yeah.
So like I've gone familiar with what good steak was, right?
Yeah.
And Smith and
At the
Wollensky,
age of 18 too.
yeah,
You're fucking wild, homie.
yeah. I was a very
We're over
wild
here
boy.
working in those places and not feeling good enough to go to them.
Yeah. Like, damn, look at this food I'm serving. I wish I could serve.
And it was all mute though. So Smith and Wollensky, very reputable, very good.
Yeah.
We get there, and I hear the big commotion about the anniversary of the Chicago fire. At the end of the night, they're gonna have fireworks to commemorate those people that lost their lives and whatnot. So we get there around 7. Like, we gotta get good viewing spots. They would even see it. It was
How
on a bridge.
ironic would it be if those fireworks started a fire?
And the city burned down.
Perfect end to the story.
Exactly.
No, so we get there and we're 18. We're not ordering fucking cocktails or drinks or anything like that, right?
Yeah.
So we're getting fucked up on mac and cheese, expensive mac and cheese, lobster mac and cheese, very good.
Recommend.
And this is the same person that I try to.
And this is Steve Wollensky.
This is the same person that I brought back when my mama bear went away for to visit my stepbrother for college, my blood brother or something like that. Brought her over to make mac and cheese and the mac and cheese fiasco. This is the same person, right?
This is the one where you serve crunchy mac and cheese.
Yeah. So we're going off the high of like, wow, the mac and cheese is so good, right?
Yeah.
At this place, and then we ordered 2 steaks, right? Me being like, oh, we're gonna be late. Like, I ordered the steaks to go, right? This hot, expensive ass steaks, hot and ready, right? Bag that up. We're leaving.
Why did you do that again?
Because I was so like, oh my god, I'm so nervous to like make good impression. Like, oh my god, it can be.
There's a fireworks show. We should
I
go to
could be
that.
boyfriend material. This would be so romantic if we go see the fireworks together. Like,
Yeah.
kind of a thing. And like, oh, we're gonna be late for the fireworks. We gotta go. Like, spending like $140 for like fucking steak to get the hell out. 18, just like,
That's like your whole paycheck.
yeah, very dope. But so we do that. I have the steak food.
Wait,
right?
homie.
No. Let me tell you where we eat the steak. Let me tell you
Does
where
she
we eat the
pay
steak.
for her half or not? You're over here trying to impress.
Come on, man. I'm 18, man. I'm trying to impress out,
He's
man.
trying to bust a nut out
Come
here.
on, man. What the?
Model.
But so we do the firework thing. We go back. We eat the steaks. The train station. Now all the commotion's
At
done.
the train station?
At the train station, waiting to go back to Harvard. Right. Just munching on cold steaks. Just like, wow, this would have been so nice. You're supposed to eat it right off the bat to get all
Yeah.
the juices. All the juice.
Yeah.
It was just eating cold, dry meat.
Oh,
rough,
you moron.
rough meat.
Oh.
One of the best steak places in the world.
And here you are having.
Speaking of great steak, last week I had a steak dinner with Alo, and it was
On Sunday?
Yeah, actually, yeah.
With potatoes?
Yeah.
And some Topo Chico spark.
Yeah,
spiked seltzer?
totally, 100%.
I had some Topo Chico as well.
Yeah, I like it.
Is Topo
like
Chico
it too.
the orange juice? What the hell?
They make a sparkling water.
Yeah, they're like the original like Mexican sparkling water, like before sparkling water caught fire.
And they recently, and I'm guessing the last couple months, they made their own
Hard seltzer.
hard seltzer, which I am a big fan of.
Yeah, I was a fan as well.
Do you want one? I have it in the fridge right now.
Ooh. Yes to that. But to encapsulate, to send off that story about the steak
Yeah.
and all that, we get back to Harvard around like midnight, right? The last train leaving Chicago. I'm like, all right, we got the fireworks done. I feel stupid of the steaks. Like, how do I redeem myself, right? So, what I do, right? Going off the high of like, oh wow. So we get back to over here by Fontana, Walworth, that park, the Lake Kashagi, the state park.
Kishwakuto?
Kishwakuto, yeah, Lake Kishwakuto.
It's not Lake Kishwakuto. It's just called the Kishwakuto.
Kishwakuto State Park, right?
It's some sort of park. It has a lot of trails. Kishwakuto Nature Trail, I believe.
Yeah. So in there, if you walk through the nature trail, there's a tower, right? A
Yep.
3-story red tower. So like in my head, I'm like, oh, it'd be so romantic to see the stars underneath the light, right? So we're walking. We park our car by the
What time
subway.
of day is this?
This is right after the whole restaurant thing at like 1 a.m.
You're a nut job, dog.
So, yeah, I know. 18.
Te va a salir la llorona, pendejo.
Dude, you have no fucking clue. Okay. I told you. Okay. So we get there, right?
Yeah.
Around 1 a.m. over here in Walworth.
The Witcher's hour.
Yeah. So we're like,
Not even a joke.
I have a flashlight. I'm like, let's go. It's not too far. In my head, it's
Okay.
not too far of a trail walk.
Can I quickly interrupt for 2 seconds?
Yeah.
What did she say to your idea of getting the stick to go?
Yeah.
She was down for that because we both wanted to watch the fireworks,
Okay.
right?
All right.
Okay.
What was her reaction to you're like, hey, let's go to this creepy ass park in the middle of the night?
Loved it because she was all into like the whole she got me into Bigfoot. I
Okay.
got into Janasqua and Bigfoot.
She's the one who ruined you.
We're gonna get this girl's information.
Woo!
Track her
Come
down.
on now. But we get to the park and right now, and in my head, like it's not that short of a, it's not that long of a walk
Is
to
she
make
the
it.
one that made you believe Paul McCartney has been dead since?
No.
the
I
first-
tried to convince her that, and it did not stick.
Did not work.
Okay,
Did not
please-
stick.
I'm sorry. Please continue.
And so we're walking the trail, right? And like she's like, I got my arm out. She's holding on to it, and I'm like,
Do you guys have any lights?
I have one flashlight.
And it's a real flashlight, not your phone.
No, yeah, a real flashlight, right?
Okay.
And I park over there. This is back when Jose used to live in an
Yeah,
apartment. So I parked.
I know where
my
you're
car
talking
over
about.
there to avoid the police, right?
You parked all the way at his house?
Yeah, because if I would have parked at the fucking subway,
Yeah.
what the fuck is this guy doing past
Yeah.
midnight? You know,
Yeah, but still, you had to walk all of like 3 city blocks just to get to the
it
trail.
was like 2 blocks
Yeah,
down the street.
but the street is right literally in front of the police station. Let me just walk these 2 blocks with this girl.
I tell you what, I could have used the police, right? So
Okay.
as we entered the trail, I shit you not, if I can get in contact with them, it'd be so cool. We hear this this awful noise that sounds like a bat, right? So like, I shine my light into the direction, expecting to see a bird or a bat, something of that nature, right? She saw this thing too, right? This thing was like this color of white, but very ghostly, very sick, very grayish white. And this thing hurtled. It was October, right? When we went, hurtled a tall plane of grass. Gone.
Wait, what shape did it have? Did it look
Very skinny, like a less muscular, godlike Luis, right?
Godlike?
Look at Luis. God damn. Let's look at him in this pose. God, this is like you look like Justin Bieber's pastor. and that is a compliment.
The biggest compliment
Compliment.
I've ever received in my life.
Oh,
But
that's
this
great.
creature, this like I don't know what the hell this was because I told many friends, people who know me know this story very well, and like I've been told that it could have been the underbelly of a deer, but doggy, the way that this thing hurtled,
So it did look like a person?
it looked like a person, right? Very like skinny and
Like
like
a woman or man?
I couldn't tell. It was gone like that. I shine the light, hurtled.
You
I
see this person-shaped gray thing just jump right
Like
over?
the Slender Man out of his suit.
Yeah, essentially, but it wasn't that bright white. That's the thing. Like it's like a dark like
Golem.
It seemed
like
yeah.
the dude from the
Wow.
Lord of the Rings.
It seemed like a sick white. Like whatever it was,
Yeah.
it was sickly.
Okay.
Like it wasn't a healthy color. And this thing hurtled the tall grass, gone into the night. So so like right away, I fucking okay. Let's get out of here.
I'll protect you, babe.
We fast walked the hell out of there, right? And then we're like, holy shit, what was that?
Just kidding. Philip probably pushed her ass over and was like, run, bitch.
Let's go. Eat her, not me. Oh yeah, but fuck it. So
He's like, I'm slow. I gotta like live.
So like going off the high of wow, I'm gonna impress this person with stars and like all this shit, make it up because I fucked up with the steak. Essentially in my head, like, oh, this would have been so much better if
Yeah,
it was
I'm
warm.
gonna make it up by enjoying a night under the stars with her.
Yep.
getting haunted by ghosts.
Yeah, and to this day, like I don't know what that was. I have no
That is
clue. And-
fucking terrifying.
yeah, very scary. Do not go to the state park over there at night. Past curfew?
Don't go to any park at night by yourself.
No.
Okay, I'm gonna plug a story too then.
Hell yeah.
Like
What's up?
many Halloweens ago, I was probably like 16, 17 when I first started talking to Alo, actually, funny enough. And we were all like at this big group of friends. I want to say we took like 3 cars to St. Killian's cemetery on the outskirts of Lake Geneva because we had looked up that a church there had burned a while ago, and there was
the
like
fuck?
some mysterious circumstances under which it burned. And there was this giant statue of Jesus there where supposedly people have said that it moves its head, that it like cries like blood, like different things.
Oh, that sounds like
And-
fun.
And also that there's like people have photographed themselves there, and then just like mysterious orbs will appear in the photographs. Like these colorful floating orbs, right? So we're like, fuck yeah, let's go do that.
Why would
It's
that be your
Halloween
first
season.
thought?
It's Halloween season. Like, let's fucking go.
Uh-huh.
So a bunch of us went. Like I said, it was like almost 8 of us. It was the middle of winter. There's probably like a foot of snow in the ground, but it's pretty cold, so you can step on top of it without just crushing into the ground, you know?
Yeah.
And so we're out there. We're like quite literally just walking the grounds. We go to see the Jesus. It looks extremely creepy at that time of night, especially with like the skyline looking like this almost like reddish kind of brown. It was just a very creepy, eerie in the air that night.
And the setting being a cemetery.
Yeah,
you know?
and we found like the spot where the church was like supposedly burned down, and then we go on to turn on our cars and leave, and our cars wouldn't turn on.
Well, that's because you didn't subscribe to GM subscription base. If you for $5
That's
a month,
true.
you can subscribe and have your car start up.
Fuck! I gotta call my local
You
used
need
car
a subscription
dealer.
base right away, folks.
That is fucking terrifying. You both are maniacs for wanting to go to a scary place in the middle of the night.
Dude, my last trip this summer, we found up in La Crosse. We found on a nature trail a witch circle that's just like off of the trail.
Fuck
20
that.
20 feet off the trail, there's just this clear circle clearing,
Where they
no
used to
plants, nothing, and there's just like a stick formation around in the circles. And I like try to convince my cousins and the boo was like, let's come back here at night, let's tell scary stories, let's see what happens. And everybody's like, fuck you, you're an idiot.
Yeah.
I would have the same reaction.
I'm
That is
terrified. I'm scared of like creatures
crazy.
and
Why
like
would you want to do that?
It's not real.
I'm scared of creatures and like monsters and shit, but like real people I'm terrified.
Oh
People that like are like into the occult and shit like that.
Like this one over here. Hey, let's come back to the witch circle and sacrifice one of us.
This is when the power is more strong.
Let's recreate Midsummer out here.
Dude, when we have Jose, he's gonna have to tell you about how he played with the Ouija board, and the dude was like
Yeah,
turning
that-
on candles, drawing 666 around the place, and nothing. We didn't even get like a glass thrown across the room or nothing,
Yeah, that guy's very very superstitious.
Oh, what is going on in your head during this?
What do you mean?
Like, are you wanting something to happen? Or
Yeah.
For what reason?
So it's real or not?
Mm-hmm.
You're like the opposite of people who are trying to get into religion. You're like so far gone from religion. You're like, I want to see what's on the other side. Oh my god.
Let me go meet these demons.
Oh, I'm fucked. Oh my god.
See, yeah, good times. I don't really believe in that stuff, but I had my own Llorona encounter in Mexico. I told you about it, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
What about you, Luis? You got any before we end up with the worst service expect at a restaurant?
Any
Scary
terrifying
stories?
scary stories? No, but speaking of Mexico, there's one moment in Mexico that I think about more often now than I used to, now that I'm fully aware of memories and thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
I was pulling on a donkey's tail
Oh no!
and he kicked me straight in the stomach.
Oh,
And if that would have been a foot higher, I'd be dead.
Or a foot lower, you'd never have kids.
I'd never have kids, yeah. Like a donkey's kick
Yeah.
is notorious for
Yeah.
killing people.
Yeah.
And I was 5 years old and I just pulled on it and it just like kicked me straight in the stomach and like.
Oh, you were young too. That
Yeah,
could
I
have
was
fucked you up
5
regardless.
years old, dude. It just hit me, and then I fell to the ground, and I was like, out of breath, and my grandpa had to we had to go back, and our only mode of transportation was the donkey.
The donkey that kicked you.
So we go back and
Piece of shit donkey.
Did your grandpa have to carry you? And you were like, I'm not going near that
I was
thing.
like, I don't want
Fuck
it.
that guy.
Yeah, but that was our only mode of transportation.
God damn.
And if that
Like,
would
fuck
have been
you, Pancho.
I've heard of horsepower, but that's donkey power. Whoa. Oh.
yeah, that was.
You could say he was being a real jackass, that day.
But that's crazy though. Like your head could have been cleaned off,
Yeah,
impaled
dude,
by a donkey.
I could have been fucking split 180 degrees and never been here today.
Mm-hmm.
So with that being said, everybody, thank you so much for listening. Go check out this interesting salty wine that we had today for a mere $15.
Give him the name again.
Grande Réserve de Gassac Blanc. It is a white blend. Very, very good. Very worth trying for something new. Go to your local cemetery in the middle of the night.
That's right.
On a cold night.
Especially around Halloween.
Especially around Halloween.
Oh, yeah.
Go to your local park with someone that you're trying to impress.
Especially
That's right.
around October, Halloween.
Also around October.
Especially deep into the woods, into the nature trails.
Yeah, exactly. Make sure you park, quarter mile away, so it makes running away that much.
That's
and
right.
make sure it's past curfew too. So.
That's right.
Yeah, exactly.
So absolutely no help comes to you.
With that being said, everybody, thanks so much for listening, and we'll see you all next week.